Building a Durable Peace in Congo, next on International Focus.
The Institute of World Affairs at UWM and Milwaukee Public Television present International Focus, a global magazine linking Wisconsin and the world.
Welcome to International Focus. I'm Robert Sigliano, Director of the Institute of World Affairs at UWM. After 32 years under the rule of Mobutu Sese Seko, Laurent Kabila seized control of Congo in 1997. The nation quickly slid into what some observers have termed Africa's World War, a conflict that killed millions and ruined Congo's economy. A 1999 peace agreement failed to end the fighting, and Kabila was assassinated in 2001. The war formally ended in 2003, and national elections were held in July 2006. Kabila's son, Joseph, was declared the winner. A fragile peace has held since the formal end of the war, but the Kinshasa government has yet to assert control over the entire country, and tension remains high. To help us understand the current situation and what lies ahead for the Democratic Republic of Congo, we're pleased to be joined by a central figure in the nation's recent history. Azarias Ruberwa is the former Vice President of Congo and President of the Congolese Rally for Democracy. He was a key participant in the negotiations that produced the peace agreement in the DRC, serving as chief negotiator for the RCD rebel movement. Ruberwa trained as a lawyer at the University of Lubumbashi, where he also practiced law before the war. After losing a presidential bid in 2006, he reopened his law practice in Kinshasa. Azarias Ruberwa, welcome to International Focus.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm wondering if, before we get into sort of the current situation in Congo, if you could summarize a bit of that history, that troubled history of the war years.
Thank you to invite me in this program. I can say the causes of conflict are many, but I can summarize that. The first one is the crisis of legitimacy. Since our independence and the crisis around Lumumba and
Patrice Lumumba,
Patrice Lumumba was assassinated. Mobutu took power and ruled on the country 32 years. He was replaced by Laurent Kabila and his son until last year. During this period, than 40 years, the country have a problem with legitimacy. The people who run the country was not elected, and it take many times and bring crisis and conflict. Other reason I can say is the dictatorship, how and the bad governance, how the leaders lead the country. It was exactly the bad. I can say the bad governance. The other reason is the poverty. We have, I can say, the link between poverty and the conflict. If poverty is there, then the conflict will be near. But if we have peace, it will also bring some development, I can say that. Other problem was ethnic and tribe problem. Some problem are the problem of no protection of minority. In the East, like the Tutsi people, and we have other people like Baluba from Kasai in Katanga was persecuted also. And in Ituri, between Hema and Lendu. But I can summarize and say the major reason for our conflicts was really bad governance. Now we have a president who was elected. He have all legitimacy. We have members of Congress and Senate who was elected. The governor was elected. We had resolved the issue of legitimacy. The problem we have now is how to fight against poverty and how to reconcile all Congolese. And it means if you have a good leadership and good governance, then we can really be one of the powerful country in Africa, in Central Africa, but it's not yet the situation.
I've heard you point out before the paradox that Congo is one of the richest countries in terms of natural resources, but the Congolese are among the poorest people in the world.
It is true, and it is a shame I can say that. Congo have natural riches. We have all mineral, I can say, oil, copper, cobalt, and colombo, tantalite, and many minerals. We have forests, I think 70% in the world, the forests in the world. We have water and we have energy. We can serve all Africa. But we have a bad reputation. We are one of the poorest and corrupted country in the world. And the explanation is exactly the bad governance. I think after election, we don't have another excuse because our leaders are elected. I think we must turn chapter of bad governance and build institutions, justice, administration, army, police, and other institutions, and then punish those who are corrupted and build the reconciliation. If we do that, in a few years, we can change the image of Congo. If not, it will be the same, I can say, the same situation to have this paradox, big, rich country, and 60 million of people in poverty.
You served in the transitional government for over 3 years. And in that time, you were in charge of defense and security matters. That has always been insecurity has been a big problem in Congo. What's the situation today with insecurity?
When I was vice president, I have under my control the sectors of politics, defense, and security. Really, we try to do our best in the issue of good governance and to be the model or the reference. We realize the integration of army with 15 integrated brigades, and we integrate also police. It was under my direction. But also we're beginning to deal with corruption even in army. The number was not exact. Some responsible of army sometimes give a false number just to have money and to. But now the situation. I can say is we have a risk now after election to return to the war. We have a big tension in North Kivu and the South Kivu.
North and South Kivu are in the eastern part of the country, which borders another troubled countries, Rwanda and Burundi.
And Uganda. It's called Great Lakes region, like exactly
Great Lakes,
here.
yeah.
The difference is that your Great Lakes region is not in trouble. Our Great Lake region is many times in conflict. But the problem we have in North Kivu with General Nkunda and in South Kivu with Colonel Bisogo is the problem with armed group.
And these two commanders command their own armed group.
Yes.
And there are other armed groups.
We have many other groups, but for some reasons, probably the reason we have linked with their ethnic origin, the government decided to fight them by arms, military, but other main group are still there. I think for any reason, the government must not return to war. What I propose is to use all wisdom and to have a political solution. If not, we will lose what we have built together in transition period. Sometimes the question made by those groups can be really politically be answered. I think it is the time now for the government to make arrangements, not to return to war, but to have a solution, political solution for many issues. We have 2 or 3 things. The things about refugees, the things about disarmament of negative forces, and the thing about protection of minority, essentially Tutsi, Congolese Tutsi. If we do that, if we have a quickly political solution, then we must have to deal with our big challenge, poverty and the bad governance.
We're just about at our break, so maybe we'll take a bit of a break here, and I want to explore the issue, the Tutsi issue in Eastern Congo and in Central Africa in general, because that's really at the heart of this instability. We'll be back in just a moment on International.
The Institute of World Affairs presents our community with a range of public programs relating to global issues, U.S. foreign policy, and the world economy. For more information about the Institute of World Affairs, call 414-229-3220 or visit our website at www.iwa.uwm.edu.
Welcome back to International Focus. We're talking with Azarias Ruberwa, former Vice President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, about the current situation there. And Mr. Ruberwa, we were talking about the current situation, and I want to take a little bit of a historical detour back to explore the Tutsi issue, because there was the genocide in Rwanda and Burundi in 1994. 800,000 Tutsis were killed in about 3 months in that year. Many refugees came to Congo, both Tutsi refugees, but then the armed groups who were killing the Tutsis came into Congo, and they are still there. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about the Tutsi situation.
Yes. I come from this group, Tutsi Congolese, from Eastern Congo. It is a minority, one of other minority in the country. But Tutsi are like people are also in Rwanda and Burundi, even in Uganda. For many reasons, we have in this region the hate against the Tutsi, and the point culminant, I can say, the top of hate was the genocide who committed against them in Rwanda in 1994. But in the other country, like my country, the Tutsi people or Tutsi minority had for many years the issue of citizenship. Other Congolese, even the government and the parliament, say that Tutsi was not Congolese, but it was exactly the political game, because Tutsi are in Congo since when Africa was divided. And they are Congolese like other people. But
and being denied citizenship meant they couldn't run for office, they weren't protected.
Exactly. They can't be elected, they can't be candidates until, I can say, last year. One of the reasons of rebellion movement in 1996 with Laurent Kabila against Mobutu, and then 1998 against Laurent Kabila himself, was the issue of this population. Other issues like democracy, like election were there, but particularly this issue was really one of the major problems. In our negotiation, I was the chief negotiator, and in transition period, we found solution for the issue of citizenship and equality between all Congolese. And we say all Congolese who were there in 1960, when we had independence, are Congolese. All people were there. In the constitution and in the law about citizenship, this question was resolved. But now the question of protection of minority is still there politically. In practice, I can say Tutsi people are discriminated again, and the right they have, it is the right on paper. Yes, they can be candidate, and I say I was a candidate for the presidential election. But for the extremists who are in other tribe in Eastern Congo, and sometimes helped by government, Tutsi are really discriminated and excluded in their right day by day. I can say in the town like Goma, a city like Goma, Bukavu, and Uvira.
These are all Eastern countries.
Yes, were supposed to be their city also. Today, they are few Tutsi in their city. Because they are not tolerated. It is the issue of tolerance. It is the issue of accept another Congolese like himself, because physically we have some difference. What I can say is that this issue is crucial because many conflicts come from Eastern Congo. All conflict we have, all serious conflict Congo have, come from Eastern Congo. The issue of this minority is still there on the table. It is good for the government to find solution, durable solution for their problem. To be integrated and to have the same consideration at the school, in the market, and in the city like other Congolese. Even the refugee Tutsi, it is the only type of refugee who, until now, after election, they are in a refugee in Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. All other refugees come totally or partially, but they come from Tanzania, Zambia, and everywhere.
These are many refugees that left during the war years.
Yes,
of many different ethnic backgrounds.
Yes, other come back,
but the Tutsis,
but the government didn't accept until now. return of Congolese Tutsi refugees. The other issue you mentioned is the issue of Interahamwe and Exfa, the people who committed genocide in Rwanda against the Tutsi Rwandese, and the Hutu moderate. Now, until now, they are still in Congo, in Eastern Congo, and Tutsi can be peaceful, Congolese Tutsi, with those people who committed genocide in Rwanda against Tutsi. And the government, I can say, didn't show until now the will to disarm them. For that reason, I think it is time for institution who was elected to say, we need durable peace. Yes, we must fight against poverty, bad governance, and other things. But also, this issue of protection of minority might be resolved, maybe definitively. It can help to build Congo like a nation, not like some group against other.
So you really have multiple serious challenges that the government has to grapple with here. If you look toward the future, we have a few minutes left. If you look toward the future, how can the government begin to tackle all these very different, important problems?
Now I am in the opposition, but sometimes I meet the president and give him my thinking. Our president President Kabila will be in Washington and be received by President Bush on 26 this month. What I talk to him and what I will say is to begin by peace. We have many problems, many challenges, development, justice, and many other things. But the first step is to be sure that the country will not be returned to the war, and use all time, all money found we have to build the peace. If we have peace without segregation, without discrimination, then we can, like a nation, build the future. This is the first step. The second step, or the second thing, is to have a leadership with vision and values. Without a vision, without values like integrity, honesty, and other values, we can't go far. Even if we have our riches and many other resources, we can't do anything without a vision, without leadership with values. The third thing is about state of law and good governance. I think the Congo was colonized by Belgium. After that, we have now 45 years since we were independent, but nothing has changed. If you have a state of law, we will build justice, institution, the judiciary system, who are not corrupted, respect human rights, but also an administration who are not corrupted. If you have those elements, then we can, with good governance, manage the resources of the country, fighting against poverty. We will have economic growth and the social achievement, and the face of Congo will change. We need a we need to develop some politics to attract investors. They need physical and judiciary security. We must give them that. But also, I can say the issue of security in Congo and with our the other country around the Congo, we need to consolidate that. It is really a big challenge to have a good relationship in the region.
Let me expand that a little bit. We have, I'm sorry, under a minute left, so I hate to ask you this question with so little time, but that is, what's the biggest thing you expect from the U.S. government?
U.S. government have done many things. It does many things like support UN forces in our country. I think the third of the budget of UN come from U.S. government. We need a good cooperation, like assistance, humanitarian assistance, and other things. But what we need than other things is to help us, I can say, to build a good governance.
Well, we'll need to leave it there. Unfortunately, Azarias Ruberwa, former Vice President of the Congo, thank you very much for being here. To our viewers, we'll see you next week on International Focus.
Thank you.
For information about the Institute of World Affairs and its many programs, or to become a member of the Institute, call 414-229-3220 or visit us at our website.